Enniskillen Station was a very important railway station in its day. Its railway career began in 1854 with the opening of the Bundoran and Enniskillen Railway, considered such an important occasion that on the opening day cannon were fired from the Fort Hill, to such effect that it broke a lot of the windows in neighbouring houses, much to the disgust of the residents. But apart from this, the railway was welcomed. We're standing beside Lidl's supermarket, but for many years this was the site of Enniskillen's goods store, a massive cut stone building. It survived well over 40 years after the railway closed, and in fact was one of the last buildings in Enniskillen that belonged to the railway still in existence. Behind it, on the slope of the hill, was the tightest curve on the Great Northern Railway. It had a speed restriction of something like 15 miles an hour. It was such a tight curve, and had an extra rail so that the carriages would stay on track. Up here behind us is what's called the Manager's Walk. In railway days, it was a cinder path which existed from the station up to what was called the Pound Brae. Many of the railway officials lived up the so-called Pound Brae, and this was an easy way for them to get home. Lidl's car park in railway days contained several sidings which were used for goods vehicles. There were other short sidings, and later on, after World War II, in fact, the railway added extra sidings away down on the Temple Road side. This large area, now a car park, was once the site of Enniskillen's railway station. It was a large station. It had a large two-storey stone-cut building, a station master's house, refreshment rooms, waiting rooms, and all the facilities you would associate with a railway station. Where there's a curved curb there in the background, it's more or less probably the line of where the platforms were. There were two platforms. From Enniskillen, behind me, you could go to Omagh. You could take trains from there to either Belfast or Londonderry. In this direction, you could head towards Clones, Dundalk, and eventually Dublin. Over here was the engine shed, where locomotives were maintained and cleaned. There was also a turntable there to turn the locomotives, and obviously they were serviced and repairs were done as well. We're now outside Enniskillen Station. We've just passed Mill Street, and we've just passed the area where there was a cattle dock and platforms. There was also a long siding past here, and this was the main line to Omagh. In the background is Enniskillen Gospel Hall. It was even there back in the railway days in the 1950s.